All right, we'll see if this is working. It appears to be. Get the video fired up, and the Old Tube Radio Network will be on the air.
Jim, somebody check me in early bird. I want to go to bed. I'm 64.
It's horses. Oh, yeah.
All right, we'll get you, Jack. No problem. All right, what is that time? 8:05. Getting closer to starting on time anyway. The batteries died in the wireless keyboard. I had to go fish some up, or else a lot of things won't be working. Hello, everybody, to the last Old Tube Radio Network of 2018. And I did work on my homework assignment. SWL, when SWL 00 gives you a homework assignment, you try and oblige. So we will have some stats about the shortwave listener check-ins and also the tube radio check-ins coming up. I do want to say that you are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network. We are here with the transmitting portion and the listening portion in the Central Valley of California. 27085 is our frequency, channel 11. And we have been doing this well over 30 years on Saturday evenings to encourage those with the tube radios to get on the air at least once a night, or once a week, I should say. It'd be nice to be on the air every night like things used to be, but if you've tuned around the 11-meter band, you know that doesn't happen these days. So the Old Tube Radio Network provides a forum to do just that, to get on the air, talk up your tube radio, check out the audio and the microphones and see if it's on frequency, and just basically have a good time like many of us used to do, or hopefully still do, here on the Citizens Band Radio. So with that said, I also want to say that we are available on the live stream at oldtuberadio.net, many of you listening in there, and also on the Google, YouTube, the video stream, which we will be hopefully placing some photos of the radios that are checking in. So you can not only hear what they sound like, but to see what they look like as well. With that said, let me see if 00 is out there.
Well, yes, indeed. Dennis, 00, checking in.
Checking in, this is the, if you're playing the home game, it should be 1229. I put in the X in the square. And last week, Phil, who is our current 00, gave me a homework assignment, and I hope I get a C+, at least a little better than average, about what happened in 2018 in the way of check-ins and radio. So shortwave listener-wise, the average weekly check-in is 52. So we'll see if we can make 52 tonight to stay on average. Turns out that the lowest check-in nights were July 7th with 42, and the top 3 check-in evenings, so people tend to be more around the radio, was March 24th with 65. That was the top. And then on January 22nd, we had 63 shortwave listener check-ins. And on February 10th, we had 62. The average is 52. So we'll see how we do tonight. We've got one so far, and that is Phil, SWL 00. And I do have some tube radio statistics, and I will save those for when we start checking in the tube radios in about 30 minutes. SWL number 1 is checked in, and if I look over at, and find the right mouse here, look over on the video side where we are streaming, I do believe I see OBP right at the top saying we have had a current stretch of 13 days with no sunspot cycles. So if you think that the radio has been quiet and you're not sure why there is no skip on your 11-meter radio, that is why. No sunspots, although that's not always the case for determining whether the band will open or not, but it certainly is not like the days of 3 or 4 years ago when right now we wouldn't be hearing each other because the skipping conditions are in. So thanks for the sunspot report there, number 2, and you are checked in. Over to SWL number 3. SWL 4. SWL 5. I did see Ida, Mama Rose, a couple days ago, and she asked to be checked in, which I will gladly do, and said hello to all the SWLs and tube radio operators. SWL 6. SWL 7.
SWL 7 checking in.
Sounding good, and if you are around the radio room when we were glowing in the dark, we'll be listening for some of your collection to parade by here in our final episode of 2018. What I would like to do, if I can find the right configuration, we'll put up the Orban loudness meter on the camera here, so if you want to see what your audio looks like, you can check out the video stream here as soon as I pop up the camera. That should do it. Over to SWL 11 and 12, we have proxy, or check-ins rather, for Jim and Lisa from email. Over to SWL 13. And that is Mike. Let me refresh my comments here on the board. I know many of you can check in that way, and I will make sure that you do get checked in. Yeah, a lot of you out there. Very good. A lot of stations. Hello to Toronto, Ontario. Colorado is in North Carolina, South Carolina. Hello to Wisconsin. I think I know who that is. Chicago, Spokane. We've got another Canadian station. X4000 is checking in from Brentwood. X4000. I will make sure you get checked in. Tennessee will be getting to you. Dallas, Georgia will be getting to you. Centerville, Virginia will be getting to you. Hello to Colorado. A couple of stations in California. Utah will be heading your way. Washington, New York, Maryland, and a host of others. Hopefully all of you can do or are doing something like we're doing here with a Get on the Air radio night, whether it's vintage radios, any radios, or like we do the tube radios. It's a lot of fun, and it reminds us of the good times that one can have with their two-way radio. Looking for, let's see, didn't see SWL 13. How about SWL 14? SWL 15? SWL 16? Shortwave listener 17? SWL 18? SWL 19? SWL 20? I was checking my notes from last week to see if he wanted a proxy check-in this week. I didn't have anything written down. That doesn't necessarily mean that that's the case. SWL 21. And I do believe, let me look on the list that, see, we've got South Carolina, which I think was out there, checking in from the Osama Swamp. And he is, with a bad cold. Well, it's chicken soup for you, young man. Don't stay up too late. It's already late. It's already late where JT is, so hopefully you will be feeling better. This is not the time to get a cold. It's basically the weather to get a cold, though. So thanks for jumping into the radio room and, grab the NyQuil as well. Thanks, JT. SWL 22. SWL 23. SWL 24. Shortwave listener 25. Must be a lot going on tonight. SWL 27. And from the crossband. Sounding good. Got you checked in, sir. Thank you, KB6GFD. Dwayne from the crossband, listening to multiple radios at the same. I have trouble with just one radio, and he's got a couple going, and is figuring out which microphone to key when and which ear to put on the speaker. Thanks, Dwayne, for checking in. Over to SWL29, we have a proxy check-in for Mr. Loner. Then it go over to SWL31. That's Robert and Teresa out there in Andersonville, Tennessee, and I did see them on the list. I think they're somewhere in the center stage tonight. Yeah, exactly. Thanks for tuning in. And someone said I had another crossband check-in. Let me check it out. I didn't hear who was there. Over. KB6GFD. Not able to copy. KB6GFD. Oh, I should be able to hear him. Maybe he's on an HT or mobile. All right, I will get Mr. 73 checked in. Thanks. KB6GFD. All right, back to the AM side. Over to SWL32. Yeah, tell him to fire up one of the old receivers, KB6GFD. SWL33, myself, and the Jingle Singers who are here tonight. I think they're here tonight. You know what? Since this is in theory my dime, let me head over to the other studio and see if they are ready, because we haven't tested them out just yet.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen?
Greetings to you.
Wherever you are, for music and the latest news from home and from afar, the station for you is
OTR, Old Tube Radio.
The station for you is
OTR.
All right, well, I think that's good enough for a check-in, and thank you to the Jingle Singers, Mr. Announcer. They'll be around this evening. Over to SWL34. SWL35 out there in the very cold country, checking in from Cheyenne, Wyoming. I see you, Bill, on the stream tonight. Hope all you and yours have had a Merry Christmas and are enjoying whatever goes on out there. I know you're busy. I see some of the pictures busy with the radio trailer. Hope it's making a lot of people happy. I bet it is here. I'm getting some radios and antennas and things out there for people to get on the air. Over to SWL36. SWL36, Mr. Apache. Hello, Roy. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, Dave, how about you?
Not too bad. I think I haven't wrecked 2018 yet, and I'm running out of time, so I have high hopes that it's going to be good. Thanks. All right, let me check for SWL37. Chris might be listening. He is around. His surgery we were talking about last week got postponed. So hopefully he is practicing. He has to get up early, getting Chris checked in. So hopefully he's practicing getting up early, which means he should probably be listening from the bedroom tonight. If you're out there, Chris, sorry about the delay, but my guess is all the A-team was probably taking vacation and not there. So smartly, they decided to postpone you for a day or two until the A-team shows up. So it's a hassle, but it's a good thing. Next, we've got SWL 38, SWL 39, SWL 40.
SWL 40 checking in.
40 is checking in. Thanks, Larry. You survived the train earlier, and you're sounding good. Reminder that we will be talking with and looking for the tube radios after the roll call here in about 15 minutes, so stay tuned for that. Last tube check-in for 2018, and we'll also be going over some statistics of radios that checked in throughout the year. Over to SWL 41, SWL 42.
42, 90 and 137 checking in.
All right, we will get the triple play, and 42 is in. Thanks, Jerry. SWL 43. SWL 44, Ray, also out there in the cold country up in Utah, checking and waving a hand. Let me find your item there. And he says, Happy New Year to all. I guess this is could be our New Year broadcast as well. Ray, we've got you checked in. Thanks. Over to SWL 45.
You're full quiet enough here, but boy, there's a lot of noise out there, Dennis. 45.
And likewise, you're sounding good. I noticed the same thing tonight. Had to adjust the RF level and do a few things. The noise blanker doesn't seem to be blanking as much noise as I would like. And even having trouble even hearing the far out stations from Reedley and things tonight. But you're doing a good job. Thanks for checking in. SWL 46. SWL 47.
Well, good evening for one last time in 2018 from the Radio Lounge, SWL 47.
From the Radio Lounge, where I hope there is some heating going on, or fire pit, or maybe you just have enough tube radios glowing that it all feels good. Thanks, Mike.
My pleasure. Thank you.
SWL 48. SWL 49. I think, let me go over to the list. I'm pretty sure that I might have seen 49. Well, that's from last week. Yeah, okay, I'm looking the wrong one. Checking in, hoping that we all have a great New Year. SWL 49, Brian, known as the Computer Man from long ago. And let's see, what was radios of note? Probably the best sounding, although I've got one up here in the back now. I'm trying, Brian, the best sounding Helicopter CB3A I've ever heard. So I've got one now that I can work the audio. So we got 49 checked in. Over to SWL 50. SWL 51.
37.
And 37. All right. Hopefully we didn't get you out of bed to key up the microphone.
No, I made it in here. I just got it, but things got set back until I go in Monday morning, 5:30 in the morning. Dennis, I don't wake up at that time.
All right. Well, we were talking about you when I was trying to check you, and I figured you might be in bed, and we had suggested that you start practicing going to bed early. So we may only allow you a check-in and one radio tonight, and you'll have to listen in from the bedroom. So the best way to do that 5:30 thing on Monday is to get up really early tomorrow, which you do normally, but I mean really early, and then you'll be tired. And the other thing is, look at it this way. The A team was probably out, a couple of people had holidays, and those last extra days, that happens at a hospital where it's very hard to get time off, where you've got to take those days off before the end of the year, or you will lose them. So the A team is taking their time off, and that's why they postpone things, and they'll all be back Monday early. And so, see, sometimes you got to wait for the A team to show up.
Oh, I figured it was the people who was paying cash instead of insurance. The reason they set me back.
Well, that could be too, but look at it this way. They wanted the best people there, and so they had to wait until they're all at the same time.
No, okay. All right, well, hey, I wanted to at least check in anyway. I don't know if I'm going to be doing anything else, but I'll try to listen.
All right, yeah, listen in, but like I say, go to bed early tonight. That'll help out. So thanks for jumping in.
No, and I've been doing that already. So, all right, thank you, Dennis. Have a good evening. I'll be listening.
All right, the Old Tube Radio Network, Real Radio's Glowing in the Dark, coming up after the roll call here in about 13 minutes or so. Looking for SWL 51. SWL 52. Shortwave listener 53.
53 checking in, and I wish everybody a Happy New Year.
Thanks, Bob. Mr. Belair is checked in for our last roll call, 2018. Thanks. SWL 54. Shortwave listener 55.
55, checking in.
Checking in from the high country. And hello, M&M. Sounding good. Thanks for checking in.
Thank you, Dennis.
SWL 56.
56, just for kicks.
I think I've heard that voice before. Got an X in the square. Thanks, Phil. SWL 57. SWL 59. Heard this station on earlier. Sounding good. SWL 60.
Thank you much, Dennis. And evening time to the group there. SWL 60 checking in the 2901 base, the DX 2527.
Still working as good as the day it came out of the box. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
SWL 61.
61, checking in, Dennis.
Sounding good. I've got a high noise level tonight, but you're making it through no problem. Thanks, Dean.
Thank you, sir. Happy New Year.
SWL 62. SWL 63. I do believe it's out there. We had a couple of New York stations staying up late with us and listening in tonight. There's Angola, New York. Oh, it shows up that way. I'm not sure. Sometimes the IP addresses can be a little bit off from where you actually are, but we know you're out there. Thanks for checking in. And SWL 64 with an early check-in. SWL 65.
Can I proxy him, please, Dennis?
Sure. That is Eric, and we will get a proxy check-in for 65. I'll keep an eye out if I don't see him on one of the digital formats. Thanks. SWL 66. SWL 67. SWL 68. SWL 69. SWL 70. Well, maybe we will break a record tonight. Let's see, the least amount of check-ins for a shortwave listener night is 42. The average is 52. We'll see how we do at the end of the net here. SWL 71 is next, and that is Stan, I do believe. Let me go down the list here and look for the Mr. Announcer icon. And there it is. Stan is checking in from parts unknown. Actually, Stan knows where he's at. In somewhere around Dallas, Georgia. Probably got the Pierce Simpson Guardian 23 on just to create some heat in the Radio Shack tonight. We are looking for SWL 72. SWL 73 checking in via the crossband, and I could not hear him FM, which is, I got to check my FM antenna. That's the second person I could normally hear that I could not hear tonight. And SWL 73, John has some of the non-Class D radios, I think, that would be able to check in here on this frequency. Got them fired up, or I could hear him on his probably horizontal polarized antennas. Probably has some good old tube radio receivers. So if you're listening, John, on the old tube radio receiver, good evening to you, and thanks for checking in. Over to SWL 74. SWL 75.
Break OTR.
The break OTR, go ahead, please.
69, late check-in.
No problem. I just have to take a few hops back, put the X in the square, and then jump forward again. Thanks for checking in.
Thank you.
Good way to get my exercise, as long as I don't hurt myself. Let's try SWL 75. And a station we were testing earlier with the big audio, SWL 77.
Oh, 77, the Tower of Power on the 2-watt radio. Waving a hand. Good evening, Dennis.
2 watts is sounding good. Plenty of room for another 2 watts, and the FCC will still be happy. Thanks for checking in. SWL 78. Shortwave listener 79. Bottom of page 3, SWL 80. Page 4, SWL 81. SWL 82.
82, checking in on the ditch banks of Iowa.
The ditch bank's almost frozen. It hasn't been cold enough to put on the skates and go sliding up and down, but we haven't got any rain either, so hopefully it's not muddy as well. Thanks, Ron. Takes us to SWL 84. From Reedleytown, SWL 85. SWL 86.
Break OTR.
And I recognize that audio. SWL, let's see, 51, I think. OTR, go ahead. Is that you, Dave? Over.
Hey, Dennis, this is SWL 51 checking in. I don't know if you can hear me. I got a lot of electrical interference this evening, so anyways, I'm just checking in.
All right, you are sounding good here on 27085. And as you listen to the replay, you will hear that you are checked in. Thanks, Dave. Over. Guess everybody's having noise tonight. What is going on? We look up in the sky. We are being attacked by aliens? Who knows? Page 4 is where I'm at. Tube Radio's coming up in about 5 minutes here on the old Tube Radio Network, looking for SWL 88, SWL 89. We have a check-in for SWL 90, SWL 92. That would be Madera Town. How about, let's see if Louis made it to the radio, SWL 93.
SWL 93 checking in, also known as the Fresno Sandbagger one. And good Happy New Year's to all.
You're doing a good job sandbagging. We were talking about you earlier before the net. We know you're out there sandbagging, but you made your presence known. I'm putting an X in the square.
Thank you much. I might have been sandbagging, but I've been taking care of the parents here for the last couple of weeks. So if you guys were talking about me, that's why my ears were ringing.
All right. Well, we were saying good stuff, so don't worry. I'll let you get back to what you're doing. And I know that can be a lot of work sometimes, but something you like to do. Thanks, Louis.
Check that. We're going to sit by.
Takes us to SWL 98. And shortwave listener 103. Don't hear Jeff, but he'll probably be in there at some point. SWL 109. Boy, I hear somebody way out there. Is that a station for OTR? Might be stations from far away. I will keep an ear out. If anyone's calling me and you can hear them and I can't, I will listen for the 10.5. How about SWL 110? And I see the proxy for 85, John in Reedley. Thank you, Ray, 44, asking for an 85 proxy, which I will do. Sometimes he kicks in on the big board, so I'll keep an eye out for that. Over to SWL 111, who checked in via the FM side. We're not hearing Reedley too well tonight. I think Robert said he was having some static interference down there as well. If you're listening, Robert, you are checked in. SWL 113. SWL 114.
114 checking in.
SWL 114. Hello, Wayne. Happy New Year, and we got you checked in.
Thank you for the check-in.
SWL 128. 128. Let me get the check-in there, and I believe I saw a message from Mr. John Lee. Hello, 128, 11-meter DX, rolling in from Texas most of the afternoon. So that's the thing. That's the weird thing. You could still have 0 sunspots, and the band will open up, but it isn't going to be open all day and all night until we start seeing those sunspot numbers way, way up in the double digits. So, Happy New Year to you, John Lee, and thanks for checking in here to the Old Tube Radio Network out of Fairfax, Virginia. Over to SWL 131. SWL 133.
Good evening, Dennis. 133 checking in.
133 checking in and sounding good, Dave. Thank you. And my screen locked up on the video side, so I want to say hello to KGK 5455, an old CB call from 1972. Mine was KEO 8492. That's a Joy of Lego. Who else is on? Smarty, hello, out there in New York, one of our New York stations. And Corey is out there. And also reporting Skip. And out there, hello to Iowa, Mighty Juliet Whiskey. John is out there, KJG 4755. And any other stations? I think we're looking good for our video check-ins. Looking for SWL 135. We have a check-in for SWL 137. And then over to SWL 147. I did see Neil in there. He had a report. Let me get his... He usually has a DX report. Kakalaki checking in. Lively skip conditions the past 2 evenings starting around 7 and continuing as late as 11. Maybe we'll get some cold air E-skip. That's very interesting. Contacts deep south, Midwest, and New England. Great to hear propagation again on the lower bands. 26,915, 38 LSB. And who knows, maybe even some 10-meter beacons if it really opens up. We'll keep our ears open tonight, see if we can't get some DX check-ins here, the last Old Tube Radio Network of 2018. Thanks, Neil, for checking in and being one of our SWLs way out on the east side. How about SWL 195?
195, checking in, Dennis.
All right, Carsco's sounding good tonight. So no problem going north and east. I'm not hearing the south station set that well tonight. It's looking good, Jim. Thanks for checking in.
Thank you, Dennis, and Happy New Year to you.
Likewise, like I was telling the other station, there's not much time left for me to wreck it, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed here. Hello to Bakersfield. Crank up those stacked Lightning 8s and point them down Highway 99 here up to Fresno. Maybe we'll hear you. Bakersfield listening in at oldtuberadio.net. And let's call SWL 226. Nothing heard. Any stations that I missed or you try to check in? Maybe I just quick key in here. We're looking for SWL check-ins, OTR listening.
Break OTR.
The break OTR. Go ahead, please. Yeah, stay warm. 650 sounding good at S8. Well over the noise here tonight. So you are pointed the right direction for the Flatlanders here. Have a great New Year, and thanks for waving a hand to the Old Tube Radio Network. All right, with that said, I'm going to take a moment or two and set up for the Tube radios. We will leave the video stream up and running for your chatting pleasure And Old Tube Radio pleasure here coming up. We will redo or recalibrate the audio stream. The 6L6 will drop out for a moment, but when it comes back, we'll be ready for Tube Radios. You're listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever you are, your favorite spot on the dial by far is known to you as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
The station for you is
OTR.
Wherever you are, thank you, Jingle Singers, wherever you are. We hope your favorite radio station is, at least for the next hour or so, the Old Tube Radio Network, 27085. Channel 11 here in Central California, where every Saturday evening about this time, we sit back and listen for and talk with the vintage tube radios of the Citizen Band radio service from 1958 to 1978. When they were making them, they were making them quite well. And a lot of them are still running strong and loud, as we will approve tonight when our tube radio operators check in. My homework assignment from last week, since this is our final net of 2018, was to kind of get some statistics on where we've been this last year. We have been doing this for well over 30 years, and we have checked in a lot of tube radios. Speaking of which, if I can, I may need to change my spectacles for better viewing of what I did here, if I can remember what I did. All right, the average amount that is per week when we sit down here on Saturday evenings, the average radio check-ins is 12.4. I don't know about that 0.4 radio, but 12 radios typically is what we have had for the last year through 2018. We'll see if we can get at least that many tonight. The fewest number, the lowest check-in weeks were October 4th and May 19th, where we had 6. And the highest weeks, where there was a lot of people sitting in their tube radio rooms thinking, I've got to check in a radio tonight. We had 17 check-ins on June 2nd. We had a lot of weeks where we had 16 check-ins. We had actually 6 weeks. But the top 3 were 17 check-ins in June, 20 check-ins on February 10th, and then we had 21 radios check in March 17th. So if we want to break a record tonight, we will have to have 22 radios check in. I went and found out what was the top 5 manufacturers that checked in throughout 2018. I came up with the top 5 manufacturers, but I'm going to wait to talk about those until the end of the net. So what I'd like to do, as you check in a radio, our tube radio operators tonight, I'm going to ask our radio operators what they think, their opinion. Who do you think was the most heard manufacturer? And we'll find out how well you do at the end, where you are in the top 5. And it's very possible that if I add the numbers that check in tonight, some of those top 5 could move around, you know. We'll see what happens. But in the meantime, I will be asking you what your opinion on who do you think the most heard manufacturer was through 2018. All right, enough of me talking. Let me say that this is the Old Tube Radio Network, and we're listening for your radio check-ins.
Number 7.
4, 5.
All right, I hear 7. Step up into the air chair. Ed, you will be first. 45, Paul, will take you for radio number 2. Was there another station? All right, we'll get started with those 2. Let me find the proper... I got too much paperwork here tonight. That's what happens when you have homework. You just get inundated with paperwork. So let me put that off to the side. We will need that. And SWL7 has stepped up to the chair at 8:46 is the official check-in time. Mr. Ed, hello, and what do you have for us?
Well, this time, excuse me, the Tram TR27 Echo.
The Tram TR27 Echo. I will bring up my list of items of interest here. We will see if we have indeed a 27 Echo, which I know we do. And the reason I know we do is because we've checked the trams in quite some time. And what I also know is we have a picture of the very radio on which Ed is talking. So I'll pull that up on the screen here. And while I do that, if I don't blow something up, I will also ask you, what do you think? What do you think was the most heard so far? Not including tonight, but so far the most heard manufacturer checking in for 2018.
Well, you know, since I have a Browning and it's my favorite radio, I'll go with the Browning, but I would actually think more than likely is probably General Radio Telephone. I think there's probably a few more of those than there are the Brownings. I think Tram's still up there in the top 5, though.
Okay, marking you in for a Browning Laboratories. Those watching the video, or if you're looking at oldtuberadio.net, we have a display of the fabulous green, depending on your monitor, it looks green to me, the Tram TR27E. Last in their TR27 series from 1963 with the giant S-meter. I hope I'm at least getting your S-meter into the green.
Yes, you are. The big S-meter is swinging way over into the green when you talk. Of course, you're one of the closest ones here, but yeah, no one has yet been able to peg the 60 on there, and actually, I hope they don't. But with that, and we also have a Electro Voice 638 microphone attached, so classic 63 radio, classic microphone.
And classic all the way around. A great time to fire up the classic radio that you might have is right here at the Old Tube Radio Network. It sounds good, and I will mention that you thought the Tram might be in the top 5. One of the top 5 Tram is. I won't tell you where it is, but it is in our top 5 radios heard for 2018. Sounding good. Give us one more transmission on the Tram TR27E, and thanks for bringing it by.
Oh, there we go. And yeah, I wonder what would be the oldest radio out there. I know 63 is fairly old, but I know there's some older ones out there. So that will be kind of interesting also. Well, with that, we'll let you get to the next one, and we'll warm up another radio.
Okay. I don't have particular stats on that, although we know that some of the late 1958, 59 radios that have checked in would qualify. We might have a few come in tonight, but without a manufacturer's date to say, okay, who was exactly there, it would be hard to say. But the early Gonsids and some of the E.F. Johnsons and Paul 45 has checked in a lot of radios that I'm sure flew off the shelf in 1959 and are in his collection. So thanks for checking in. Wanted to comment over at the video side, SWL44, who keeps me honest often here at Net Control. He keeps me to a higher standard, and he wasn't listening, and he wondered if 103 was called in order tonight. I want to finally show that I've updated the list so that 103 is finally in the right spot between Dave and Crawdad there. on the list, so it was called in order, but I didn't hear a response from Jeff tonight, so hopefully he'll be in there and we can get an X in the square. With that, what else do I need to do? I need to call up to the air chair, SWL 45. Hello, Paul.
Yeah, hi, Dennis. This might sound like a brownie, but it's not. This is a Buddy RC11B receiver with a Buddy TX11B transmitter.
The good old Buddy Bass. You have got the attention of SWL2, OBP, who is another station that I'm not sure when we were all gathering around the Channel 11 before the formal network days of OTR, but the Buddy Bass was one of number 2's favorite radios to check in addition to his Browning. So you've got the TX11B and the RC11B, is that correct?
That is correct.
All right, I'll see if I can find a photo of that that's correct. I lost, what happened? I lost my page here that tells me everything. So if I can find that. Here it is. I know there was a 12-channel version. Is that full 23 channels?
Yeah, no, this is a 6-channel receiver with a VFO.
All right, yeah, the Autronics, or the Buddy Bass, the TX11B was a 12-channel. There was a 12-channel and a 23-channel. See, there was a lot of different flavors. I'll see what I can pull up here. No image for that one. Let me try this one. All right, you know what I'll do? I'll put up an advertisement because I actually have a live picture. But let me start with the advertisement that should get us in the ballpark for what we're looking at here, where you have, unlike the Browning, even though it does make a little chirp, I don't think they have a ping copyrighted. We might not be able to call it a ping, but it doesn't make a little chirp. It has the larger receiver, the smaller transmitter, and then a separate piece that's your on-the-air speaker. Over.
That's the one. That's what I'm talking on. Of course, that's not a picture of this one. This one was a little different model. This one had an internal light in the transmitter. Mine had an external factory light outside the transmitter. Kind of interesting. It was one of the middle radios. This is serial number 333. And they only made about 800 of these things, so right in the middle, a little bit less than middle. And they had quite a bit of troubles with the FCC on these babies. They shut down a couple different plants before they finally gave up on making them. Too bad. A true classic radio. Back to you.
Very classic. One of the early ones that the stations that were really into audio liked that radio because it was modifiable with like a 6L6 tube in the transmitter to beef up the audio. I believe it's plate modulated. I switched over. This is Harvey's radio, but you can see the difference. The transmitter receiver, it doesn't have the on-the-air speaker light. But there's a live version. And your audio is excellent. Nice, full fidelity audio, very loud. You could be pushing that Buddy a lot more if you wanted to, but I like the way you've got it set up. Over.
Yeah, okay, this thing right here, like I say, was this thing was not amplified. In other words, this whole unit is stock, factory stock. Usually they change these into 10 meters. They get quite a few more watts out of it than I'm getting out of this thing. But the modulation makes up for everything on this. My goodness, it's so loud. The only reason I'm running a Turner Plus 3 on the thing is because you can't overlap. I can't hardly over-modulate those Plus 3s. And get it, they seem to like it. As far as the meters I got, it's liking the microphone. And I'm sitting here on my bench. It's real nice. I can see quite a bit of my equipment now because I'm reaching it at arm's length on the thing. I'm talking that far away from it, and I know it sounds good. I know what it sounds like. Back to you.
It sounds excellent. I put up the Orban loudness meter, and you're right at -14. I sort of have that set as as an optimum, if you're loud without distortion, you can be distorted and even get higher than that or for the loudness meter, but it's nice and clear and it's right at minus 14. That's really good. So good stuff on the Browning. The transmitter, I'm showing that sold for $124.95. So you pair that with the receiver. Says that it had 30 watts input to the final with the 10-meter conversion. So that's probably where the FCC issue came in to get it type accepted and to make sure it was properly set up for Class D. But that's one reason it was as popular is you could strap the thing out to the 30 watts input and beef up that audio tube. And you would sound quite nice, probably not only on the channel you were supposed to be transmitting on, but no doubt your adjacent close-by neighbors would hear you as well. Radio number 2 is the Buddy TX11B, RC11B, the Buddy bass radio we used to hear a lot. We used to hear those quite often in the early days, but don't hear too many of them now, so thanks for bringing it by. Give us another transmission here on the Old Tube Radio Network.
I don't know whether this was ever brought up, but what year were these manufactured? I had it written down somewhere, and I've lost a note. I know there was a short span in there of a number of years, but I forgot how many years or what year they were manufactured. Have you got that, Dennis?
I'm looking to see if there was a Sam's Photo Fax on the number here, but it's not showing up. Let me try a different 5 watts, the plate. I was seeing if I could call in another Buddy picture. Let me try that one and see what it shows up. No, it's giving me the same thing. So I don't have that info. And the other thing I was going to ask, and you may not know, there was a Marina Communications that made those and an Autronics, which I think was down in Southern California. Do you know which one you have?
Pasadena, California, if that's what you're saying.
Okay, I think the Pasadena was the Autronics version. I think the Marina, or the other one was on the coast. I don't know exactly for sure. Harvey knows a lot about these, and he's not in tonight, so we will see. But I can't answer your questions about the year of manufacture because that's not coming up here. But it sounds good, and I'm glad we've got a Buddy here in our final episode of 2018. Sounding good.
Great. Well, this same Marina built this receiver. It's all screen moved receiver, if you know what I'm talking about. It uses a string inside to move it back and forth, the old time stuff, which I love. And Marina is the one that's got their name on the mic, on the meter, on the receiver, but on the transmitter it doesn't have a name on it. It was mounted outside, and I was told that was done by perhaps Marina. I don't know why. Anyway, that's it, all the information I have. Thanks, Dennis.
All right, thank you. Autronics and Marina. You're right. There's not a lot of them around, or they didn't sell a lot of them, but they still show up mainly because they were treasured for the audio and the fact that you could strap them out, but you can hear. Even if we're talking a mid-'60s style radio, which is probably the case here with the Buddy, how great it sounds in the end of 2018. Thanks for Radio 2 on the Old Tube Radio Network. Heading over to the Jingle Singers.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever you are, the friendliest station for you by far is known to all as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
The station for you is
OTR.
And we were looking for radio number 3.
Comment?
Comment, go ahead, please.
Yeah, Dennis, I've noticed your audio has steadily been dropping on the radio side, but not on the stream side.
All right, good thing. Let me check out there. Stream side looks good. 1, 2, and yeah, you know what? We are a bit weak thanks to probably bad pots. Hold on a second. Let's jump up there. All right. And let me turn that down. Get tangled up in the wires here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, you know what? I see an issue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know. Is that helping? Let me get in front of the microphone where I'm supposed to be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that helping at all? Over?
Yeah, it's coming up a little bit more.
All right. I actually monitor the sound card output, which is not what you hear, the radio output. So you have to look at my wiggle meters here. That gives me a little bit more, but I don't know about distortion. So we'll see. Anyway, thanks for the always appreciate comments on the station here to make it, or to keep, not to make it sound better. It can never sound that great. It doesn't sound anywhere near as good as the radios that check in, but to keep it from sounding what we used to call in the early days of the Old Tube Radio Network fecal container audio. Was there a check-in for the Old Tube Radio Network?
Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
All right, you are, step on up to the air chair at 901 SWL 77. Now, what have you got for us?
All righty. Well, I hope I still holding there. It's the old Cam 88. I thought I'd get it in there for the last time for 2018. And we're running the 664 Electro Voice. But we did something a little different. We're running it through an HD audiograph by Behringer equalizer. And thanks to you, we've made some adjustments, and hopefully it's doing okay out there.
It's doing great. Nice, smooth audio. Let me pull up a picture of the Cobra Cam 88. I know I've got one. So those of you who are SWLing with some high-fidelity speakers, or maybe you're listening on the audio stream and you've got the expensive earbuds, you will be hearing what I call big audio, full fidelity sound from the Cobra Cam 88. Obviously, they have that radio set for to pass some good low frequencies, but keep the high fidelity in as well. And Dennis is doing a good job of feeding the front end audio properly to keep things from distorting. I bet it looks great on a scope. I don't have one of those yet to check things out, but there's the Cobra Cam 88 to tune to channel 11. I do believe that's one of its 23, maybe even 24 channels. Over.
Well, 23 for sure. I'm just at awe with this old girl. Every time I try something new, it just gets better. So just an amazing rig, and keeping me nice and warm in the shack tonight.
It's always a good thing to turn on when it's as cold as it is here in Central Valley. I'm not even in the 70s yet, and I've got enough tubes cranked up. This is a great time to be by your tube radio and get it checked in on the Old Tube Radio Network. That's a neat looking radio. It doesn't have to have the wood case. It just like the chrome or the silver, if you will, and black, and it's a nice large enough radio where everything's spread out, where you can grab it and see it and not get conglomerated with trying to figure out what you're doing. Plus, they got that speaker right in the front. So how's the receiver on that thing?
Surprisingly well, and the speaker it just works beautiful. Everybody sounds great coming through it. And even on noisy nights, as far as static and noise, it filters the static and noise quite well. Very surprised with the receive on it. But all the way around, clean and simple, easy to operate, and just a wonderful radio.
It is, and thanks for bringing it by. I was looking to see the Cobras are not in our top 5 heard. I'll give out that hint. But maybe in 2019, I know there are some other Cobra models out there that could be checking in, but hopefully we'll be hearing more of this one. Radio number 3, Dennis is on his Cobra Cam 88 with some what I'll call external audio modifications. There are things you can do inside by changing the caps, but this radio seems like it has pretty much been built to allow, if you want to pass some full fidelity audio, the radio will say, if you do it great, or if you do it right, I will help you out, and it sounds great. Thanks for bringing it by.
Okay, Dennis, and we appreciate everything you do for us out here and closing out the year and looking forward to the new year. Speaking of New Year's, Happy New Year's to all the listeners out there. We'll continue to listen and put a big smile on our face.
All right. Hopefully get some more radio check-ins. We are looking for radio number 4 tonight.
Break OTR.
And the break OTR. I'm hoping we can get... I can use both papers. First, let's see. Let's do the SWL.
50 checking in.
All right, I've got that. Let me grab the 50 page here for your final check-in of 2018. And SWL 50 Mark has been on our list for a number of decades, I would say. And while you're here, how about radio number 4? I bet you're on it.
Yep, a big brown and gold eagle, Mark 3.
All right, the brown and golden eagle Mark 3, and I've been forgetting to ask the question to our tube radio operators checking in. So, Dennis, if you're listening, don't go away, because I didn't ask you. But I will ask Mark. Out of 2018, out of the entire year, what would be your guess as to the most heard manufacturer checking into the old tube radio network?
I believe it would be the one I'm talking on.
All right, another one for Browning. We'll see how that is. We're going to be tallying up some totals here at the end of the net to find out where all these radios may fall. Yours is sounding good. The Mark III doing a good job, and we enjoy it coming by the old tube radio network. Thanks for bringing it by.
Yeah, no worries. Everybody have a happy New Year.
Indeed. And Dennis, if you are there, 77, I forgot to ask you your choice for the possible most heard radio of 2018, the manufacturer. And same thing with Paul. I have a feeling Paul will come in with another radio, so I'll be able to ask him. OTR is listening.
Number 7.
And SWL 7 for Radio 5 at 9:08. Go ahead, sir.
Well, I'll bet this manufacturer may be in the top 5 anyway. E.F. Johnson, Messenger 223.
The old, as SWL2 would say, the Elmer Fudd Johnson. I think it's more something like Edgar F. Ed is on the 3rd in the series. There was the Messenger, the Viking Messenger 1, the white face, the black face, the Messenger 2, and this radio here, which, if I click the button, will pop up onto our screen, the Messenger 223, take a transmission.
Yeah, and also wondering something else. You say the make that's in the top 5. Now, is that just the make, or is that make and model question? And with that, oh yeah, we also have a D104 silver reel hooked to this.
Okay, yeah, that's a good question. I didn't clarify. I said the manufacturer. So if one was going to say E.F. Johnson, that would include all the Messenger 223s and the Messenger 2. So E.F. Johnson would be the manufacturer, but that would include all E.F. Johnson moniker radios that checked in through 2018. And I'll give a clue that E.F. Johnson is one of those in the top 5 as of tonight, as of before we started checking in the radios. There are some close things happening, so for the full 2018 total, things could possibly change, but I will hint that E.F. Johnson is in the top 5.
Good deal. Well, that's my guess anyway. Anyway, I'll hold off on the last guess with my last radio.
All right, I think we marked you down for the Browning earlier. So I guess if you want to change your mind, but looking good. The E.F. Johnson Messenger 223 that Ed has is not being displayed here. He's got some different things going on with modifications of the dial lights and some other small change items somewhere around the radio.
Yeah, at least 15 cents worth anyway. Buffalo nickels in the middle of the knobs instead of the little metal plates or whatever they had in there. And, of course, blue LEDs in the place of the light bulbs that were there. So the Johnson with blue bulbs.
All right, looking good and sounding good for Radio 4 tonight. I'm sorry, Radio 5 here on the Old Tube Radio Network. Thanks for bringing it by.
And thank you.
Comment?
And the comment, go ahead, please. Over.
The answer to your question, I would have to say Browning.
All right, we'll put one down for Browning Laboratories. Thank you.
Braco TR.
This is the Old Tube Radio Network. Over.
This is number 7 with another radio.
We'll put you down for Radio 6 at 9:12 with your another radio and ready to copy. Over.
Okay, this is the Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB in the stealth mode.
You fooled me, because I was thinking, did he check in the Browning? No, that was Mark that checked in the Browning. So we'll lash up another Browning Laboratories, the Golden Eagle Mark III, and I believe yours is the SSB series.
That would be correct. Man, that was some squeal. I didn't even got my ear. And with that, we'll show you the squealing capability of the radio and then turn the darn thing off.
All right, for those that may not, or may have a Browning and are wondering, how did he do that with the no squeal? I'm assuming it's not like Alexa where you can say, Browning, I want you to ping for 12 seconds. There's something physically you have to do.
Oh, darn, I saw the switch on. Yes, actually, there's, let's see, there we go. Take that switch there. Yeah, I actually just turned the squelch up a little bit, and that gets it so it doesn't feed into the speaker and doesn't feed back.
Yes, when I did net control a few times on a Browning, I did the same thing, because half of the net was waiting for the ping to go away. And I thought, well, no, we can do better. So I did that little squelch trick that you talk about. And the Browning purists weren't that happy, but it helped, at least for net control. And then Ed also has an ability, I think, with the switching of the capacitors that a lot of people know about, to extend the ping if he so desires on his radio number 6.
Oh, there you go. Back into the stealth mode. Yeah, I can ping the heck out of it. I can make a nice, really long ping, standard ping, a mid-range one. But it starts to get irritating, even to my ears after a bit. So I'll just run it in the stealth mode and keep people guessing.
Well, there you go. And you had me guessing for a minute. 1972, when the Browning Mark III series, where there was a sideband transmitter, which we're showing, and that matches the size of the receiver, or the AM transmitter, which I think it was about $200 less. If you didn't have all that money for the full set, you get just the AM transmitter, which was a smaller transmitting unit, would be below the $700 price range that they came out with in 1972. A popular radio for Browning. I have a feeling they might have just kept going with that style through 1976 to 77, but something happened called 40 channels, And so they had to kind of redesign things. But they sold a lot of these radios for sure, and a lot of them are still around, as is being proved here in 2018. Thanks for bringing yours by tonight.
Oh, and thank you. Oh, and this one, like that one in the picture, also has the limited edition Golden Eagle D104 microphone. So the double eagle, double Golden Eagle even. And there you go.
A true collector's edition classic. Let me move the picture over. We can just kind of sneak in the Golden Eagle. Very, very hard to find those today. And when you do, it's hard to find them for a price you can afford. Thanks for bringing it by. All right, let me give us some more stats here. We were talking that we have, I've got a list of the top 5 radios. What about those that didn't quite make the top 5? How about radio number 8? The number 8 in amount of radios heard. Number 8 for the year of 2018 at the start of tonight is the Courier. Courier's number 8. Number 7, the 7th most heard manufacturer of 2018 before we started tonight, is Sonar. And the number 6, well, I'll wait for number 6, but that's 8 and 7, Courier and Sonar. Didn't quite make the top 5. They're close, though. I mean, if we had enough check-in, maybe they would bump somebody off the list, but great radios. And we like all radios, whether you made the top 25 or not. If it's glowing in the dark and you can key it up, we will check it in. OTR listening.
47.
And hello, 47, over.
Hey, oh boy, I'm just walking. We're going to do that without the dog, Connor. Thank you very much. Or actually, we haven't had any pet check-ins. No, I'm not going to go there right now. All right. Well, actually, I guess in some way this could be a pet check-in. Do people have robins in cages in their homes? I don't know.
Well, they have canaries. Probably sing a little bit more like robins. I don't know. Robin's a big bird, actually. And I don't see many. I see them during the spring and the summer, where they are very active in the evening, early evening.
I'm embarrassed to say I don't think I know anything about robins besides, I think I used to get robin eggs in my Easter basket from See's Candy. I don't know, but, well, this particular robin, you don't want to get chocolate anywhere near it. If you do, it's going to be just a horrific mess. This is the Robin T123. No letters of the alphabet after that. This is just the straight 123 with. My absolute favorite thing on this thing is of course, the Magic Eye tube. I've always had a thing for radios with just weird features, and this is definitely one of them. I don't think you could really improve on this radio besides its, it could use a new paint job. But the cool radio, and yes, the Magic Eye is definitely winking and blinking at me right now. This is I always get them confused. I think it's the 6RE13, I believe. It's kind of like a vertically mounted Magic Eye tube. You talk into it like I'm doing right now, and kind of a bar from the bottom goes downwards, a bar from the bottom goes upwards. It's kind of like a stalactite and a stalagmite kind of growing into each other. But it's a pretty cool to look at. And I think I was going to say before the dog interrupted me, I was running in here when I heard a little space, and boy, this thing definitely puts out a really nice smell. I've always liked the smell of these radios. Kitchen smells like French onion soup right now. This lounge definitely smells like vacuum tubes. Nothing better.
Nothing better. Mike gives us an idea of what it's like. We all know what it's like to be an SWL, but when you actually get in front of a radio to drive it, there are many things. There's the visual with the lights and the blinking lights and the Magic Eye tube. And there's the olfactory. Is that the word I'm looking for? Where you have the smell of the of the glowing tubes, burning the dust off or whatever it does. So let's say you're a blind operator. You're sightless. You can still enjoy these because there is an aroma to go as well. So this is good stuff. And waving a hand to hello Butterbean, saying hello from the video side, where there is a chat. There's actually a little chat window going on. If you'd like to get involved with that, click on the oldtuberadio.net live pictures, and it'll take you over to the pictures and the chat side where we're talking with Mike on his Robin T123, talking about Robin radios and Robin birds. And like you, I don't know that much about the Robin bird, but I think in the 30-something years, I've learned a little bit about the Robin radios. Over.
Yeah, I think you know more than just a little bit about these guys. You may have mentioned this. I can't remember what year this particular model was put out from. Do you know offhand?
It's going to be before 1972 because I think that's when the updated B model came out. I think that's what. But I don't show. I show it's 12-volt DC, 115-volt AC. Sam's Photofax 35, page 95. Anybody have a Sam's Photofax 35, page 95? That might give some indication of when it was around. But I'm going to say it was pre-1972. 11 tubes, 2 transistors. And I don't show that it's a Panasonic chassis. I know the 123B was. But this is all well and good. So enjoy.
Oh, yeah. Definitely enjoyed it. Everyone sounds great on it. And I'm truly grateful that everyone is out here. So thanks. Sounds great. And on that, back to you, sir. Thank you.
All right. Looks good also on the Orban loudness meter. I'm just looking at some of my wiggle meters behind me here. I'm not sure what's going on with the audio, but we will strive to get through it. Let's talk about Robins. Radio number 7, thanks to Mike, is our Robin. And I was talking about there is a top 5 so far as before we started tonight. And there were I don't even want to call them also-rans. These are the people that didn't quite make the top 5. We had Radio 8, the Courier. The number 7 heard radio was the Sonar. The number 6, speaking of Robins, the 6th most heard radio of 2018 is the Robins, because it could be any Robin that glows in the dark. And that's as of before we started tonight. And like I said, there is a close, some of these are pretty close. So by the time we do the final tally after the check-ins tonight, things could change. But the 6th most heard radio in 2018 is the Robin. And we just heard one right there. Speaking of Robin, speaking about things that sing, radios, Robins, we certainly can't forget our very own jingle singers here on the Old Tube Radio Network.
You're listening in the latest style.
27.085 megahertz. Channel 11, Old Tube Radio.
In wonderful
Fresno, California.
And we're looking for radio number 8.
Well, I'm pretty distraught that the Robin radios were only the 6th most common. I feel like an underdog now.
Well, that's pretty good considering that we had plenty of radios checking in. So they are in the top 10, but before we started tonight, they were not in the top 5. They were at number 6.
You've actually counted up, for all of 2018, you've counted up every single radio that's been checked in?
For 2018, last week I received a homework assignment, and it's been a long time since I've had any type of a homework assignment. So you kind of think, nah, forget it. But it came from SWL 00, and when a 00 gives you an assignment, it's pretty hard as net control to skip class, right, to play hooky. So I indeed went through all the 2018 check-in lists and did some tallying. We went through the SWL stuff earlier, as you heard, and we did the radio. So as of the beginning of the program tonight, beginning of the net tonight, the sixth most heard manufacturer were the Robins.
Okay. Well, at least the Robins are on the scoreboard. Did you go to the first five? Did you name those already?
No. In fact, that's sort of the teaser tonight. I didn't name the first five, and I'm asking, and I should ask you, when people check in what they think might be the most heard manufacturer for 2018, and we do have a top five. I have it right in front of me here, but I wanted to save that and read it. That was as of the beginning of the net tonight, the top five, and then I want to read it again to see if any of those positions change or if anybody gets knocked off the list. But I have read the number 8, number 7, and number 6, and I will say that some of these totals are very, very close. So there you go.
All right, my eyes are about ready to slam shut. I should have gone to bed 20 minutes ago. But you know what? I can't go to bed now without knowing the top five. Okay, I'm gonna try and prop my eyelids open with toothpicks and check this radio in, which is another Robin. Come on, Robin. This is my 123B as in Bravo, with the original microphone, I believe, that came with this. This is probably the best looking radio in my collection, the newest one. The front looks flawless, the top, the bottom, every side looks really good. I don't think I see a scratch, and it's pretty dark in here right now, but the microphone, even the plastic on the microphone looks brand new and shiny. So, no Magic Eye tube. There is a modulation lamp, which I just looked down at and reminded me I should probably be speaking a little louder. But there it is, non-amplified mic, so I'm assuming the audio is going to be a little bit weaker than the 123, which is using the D104 on amplified D104. So there it is, another Robin for the evening and the year.
Another Robin sounds good, and the modulation meter is telling you true. It was fading out a little bit, and you spoke up to the microphone, your blinky light told you, I like that better. SWL 128, John Lee, who is on the spot here with some information. Sam CB35, August 1971. Thank you. That is going to play into what we're talking about right now with the Robin T123B. The T123 that we heard moments ago from that very Sam's Photofax. So that tells us that 1971 would be a good guess for the year of manufacture, or perhaps around that date. And in 1972, Robin updated that model with this model, the B, and this was the Panasonic chassis that shared its design with many other radios, this being one of them, 123B. 11 tubes, 2 transistors, still goes base and mobile. And this, like the Browning Mark IIIs, this ran through 1976, where it was probably deemed obsolete because it was only a 23-channel radio.
Wow, very interesting. Okay, well, the only question in my mind, and I do have that Sam's Photofax. I think everyone that has a tube radio, you got to get the Sam's. It's definitely an eye-opener. I'd be curious in finding out why this sucker gets so much hotter than the 123. I don't know. That radio's turned off right now, so I can't tell you much. Boy, I've got to be knowing everyone. I'm speaking so softly. I'm going to shut up on that one. I don't know if you want to comment about why this one seems to get a lot hotter than the other one. On that, I'm going to send it back to you and just kind of be listening for the first 5 radios, because I need to get an amplified mic for this guy.
Yeah, I don't know about the heat issue. They're all convection cooling, meaning there's no built-in fans. It's just the heat rises through whatever ventilation they have, whether it's on the side or the top. There may be some difference the way it's ventilated, and if it's a totally different chassis, which I think it is, then there may be some different tubes are horizontal, verticals, something like that. But as long, tubes don't mind too much heat. It's transistors that do not like the heat. Tubes can hang out in the heat with no problem. So hard to say. And yeah, your 12AX7, the modulator mic preamp, I'm sure will appreciate it. It will work hard for you if you want to talk a little bit louder. It won't. It shouldn't complain. And it would be interesting to see what a amplified microphone might do with that. My guess is it's probably set up that way with the range boost. Somebody had driving it hard with the preamp amplified mic, and they went in and internally turned things down so that you can run the range boost off. That's just a guess. Thanks for Radio 8. I don't want to talk too much. We have about a half hour left for your radio check-ins here on the Old Tube Radio Network, our last net program for 2018. But not the last. We're going to go. We've been going 34 years, whatever. We're going to go for another 34. Our goal is to get to that millionth tube. When the radio that has the millionth tube checks in, I believe if I have the camera set up here in the control room, there will be balloons and confetti and things falling down from the ceiling. And we'll have a great time. So we are now looking for radio number 9.
Number 7.
And hello, number 7 with radio number 9. Over. I think I heard that telltale distinction of a crunch and clatter of a tube radio. Over.
Oh, yep, maybe crunchy too much. Hopefully the noise will stop. Anyway, this is a Robin. T123, no B, with the magic eye winking and blinking, making some other noises.
All right. Let me go back to our earlier post of the T123B, and there it is. And there was a comment I wanted to make to Mike, so I hope he's still listening because it talked about the Robins and the microphones. It has the crunch, but it goes away and allows you to speak. It also has some other strange noises that I remember happening on Kevin's Buddy bass, but we like it for Radio 9 and take a transmission.
Okay. Looks like it's making some strange sounds. Anyway, yes, this is another transmission on the Robin. I figure I'd go ahead and key it in there. Since you said the Robins were really close, I key up another one. In fact, I got enough time. I may even be able to dig one more up, see if we can breach it into the number 5.
All right. Yeah. Well, what I said, because I don't want to tip anybody's hand here. I said there are a lot of in our top 5, and we talked about the radios 8, 7, and 6. In that mix, there are some places that are quite close. There are some things that are close. So, again, I will read the pre-show, the pre-net list, and then we'll see if anything changes at the end here in 30 minutes. We're adding the Robin T123 to our list tonight. Robin's currently in the list, the way it stands, currently in the number 6th most heard radio for 2018. So we'll see what happens. There are others, that's... things could change. It sounds good. It has an interesting noise. I think it's just not warmed up. It's actually complaining a little bit more than I remember it complaining previously, but doing a good job. Thanks for radio number 9.
Oh, well, thank you. And, yeah. With that, we'll go ahead and I'll let you get out there and hopefully get a few more radios.
And I bet that looks interesting on the SDR display. And hello, Paul. Over.
Yeah, I was wondering if I was having a problem. Did you get all your modulation back on yours? Because the other radios in front of you have been a little bit louder. Now you sound all right, but it seems like you've been louder.
Yeah, no, Dennis, and I'm looking. Notice something. So I wonder if I may have to put the headphones on and listen. I may have a bad control. I'm going to do something here. I may have one of my infamous Hello Radio with bad controls, and that didn't do it. Let's see what else usually goes funky on me here. Let's flip that up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the audio board. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm looking at the meters here. I do have low audio, and I've got everything improved. So what I'm going to do? Hold on a second. Let's see. Can I do that without messing other stuff up? I got to be careful here what I do. 1, 2. That's really low. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, it is low. Got to check something here. Hello Radio 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go with that. Hopefully I can make it through a half hour here, but I'm looking at the meters behind me. And things are showing up a little bit low, over.
It's working better up here now, Dennis. It went in and out. He had it real good for a while, then it dropped a little bit. But you're totally readable, so we'll check this radio in if you have it.
All right, maybe this will be my last transmission for 2018. We'll be working from the mobile in 2019 when things go up in smoke. Mike was talking about the aroma. I'm hoping not to experience certain aromas here tonight as we check things in. Radio number 10, and give me the model number again as I was trying to stay on the air here.
Okay, it's a Regency Imperial SSB-DSB-AM.
One of my all-time favorite rigs at 937. Why do I say that? One, because my first tube radio, which is still here but has some issues on the channel synthesized crystals, is the Regency Imperial DSB AM, double sideband AM, double sideband suppressed carrier. The first radio that I used for net controlling and things was the Regency Imperial. And yours sounds great. They're a little bit narrow on the AM receive because they were set up for the double sideband. But they're really just a great transmitter and a great receiver. Very well built, over.
Yeah, I'm using a stock Regency non-amplified ceramic mic. It's made by Turner. I'm sure that's come out of stock on the thing.
It's hard to say. They have kind of a very bright sound to them, so sometimes the D104s were a little bit much. I ran a +2 on mine for a while. It wasn't. I didn't think that was the best microphone to have. They come out with their Regency mic, which isn't bad. I have it. It's around here somewhere. I can't remember. It does look like a Turner mic, but it says Regency on it. And you can tune those things to get a lot of forward movement on the meter. They normally key up only at about a watt and a half, and then you'll notice RMS a good swing on the meter to 4 or 5. But that's the double sideband suppressed carrier, which actually helps make the audio loud.
Yeah, you bet you get the audio out of this thing. With a +2 would really be a mic to have. I got a few of them, but I'm kind of trying to stay to the stock microphone on these things like that. But no, it's got a final in the front. You can tune the thing up, and I'll tell you what, it's doing quite a bit more than what it should be doing. But just by tuning by hand, it isn't really blasted it. And like you say, the modulation is holding right about 100% or a little bit less. So all told, I think I'll just leave it like it is. Back to you.
It sounds good. You don't need to touch a thing. I'm putting a shot up, and it's the Regency Imperial. They made an Imperial 2, but not for long. When Regency came out with the sideband, the Tram Titan 2, the Titan 2A had the double sideband, I think, and it didn't fly well because of the extra space it used. And So these are actually rare radios. The Regency and the Regency Imperial 2 is very rare. This isn't a great picture. Who is it? It may be Stan. Somebody's got a really nice picture of the Imperial 2, which is a radio I'd like to have because they made some improvements on the noise blanker and some other items as well. But I know this one, well, great receiver. It's got the way to monitor the, let's see, SVC was signal, voltage, and current. You've got a final control, so if you want to talk to the Christmas walkie-talkies, you can crank that thing way down to 100 watts with the final control. But that's the first thing I used to do is get on and look at the current meter, dip the finals, and I was good to go.
Yeah, they're very versatile, very good radio, very nice looking radio. The thing sold for about $300, so they weren't giving them away, and it was well worth it at that time, I'm sure. Well, everything was well worth it at that time. Anyway, I love the airflow of this thing. It's got that back end all small expanded metal, and it's clear all the way around where it breathes 100%. It's got more tuning deals on the side, as you know, which I might have said I'm going to leave it like it is. And like you say, it's got the 3 functions on the meter. Just a classy radio. Back to you.
It is, and I hope to get mine back on the air. I'm going to have to, it's been a long time, so I'm probably going to have to pull it apart and check the capacitors. I've got a Regency range gain parts radio that uses the same, it's a range gain with sideband put in it. So I've got a range gain that I think I can pull some crystals out, and it'd be great to get it back on the air and maybe use it for a net control radio for a while. Our radio number 10, the Regency Imperial double sideband AM. I apologize for that. I really didn't have a great picture. It's supposed to have an Imperial logo and a crown on the front. It's a very pretty radio with the gold metal bezel around the front. And I had at one time, when I first got the radio, which was in 1971, I think is when I got it, 71 or 72, I bought it used for about $70. And the guy that sold it to me really liked the range gains and the Regency radios, and he gave me a list of all the parts. You could get every single part. You could get the channel knobs and the escutcheon selectors and all this. He says, you should rebuild that radio. And I never did, but I was a starving high school student at the time, so that was one of my projects, but I never got around to it, and I'm sure that none of that stuff is available from Regency anymore. Anyway, Paul, thanks for your Radio 10 tonight, and I always enjoy the Regencies.
Yeah, no problem. I enjoy checking the thing in. Actually, my manufacturing date on this is 1967. It said it's the early Imperial, so you must have the later Imperial if you're 72. And that's all I got to say. Back to you.
Well, I bought it used. It was a used radio. It wasn't brand new. And the guy that owned it used to talk. They talked on Olson radios, Olson sidebanders, they were a lot like the Regency range gain, and the Olson sideband, the Olson spotters were all that kind of double sideband suppressed carrier. And he got a hold of this one, and I don't know why he got rid of it. I think it wasn't perfect. He was one of these guys that liked to have everything perfect. So that's why when we sold it to me, he gave me the little list, hoping probably that I would, like an old car or something, I would fix it up. It's still here, so 40-something years later, I can still do that. Although I think I may need to do a few more other things, but it's in pretty good shape. And like I said, it used to run on the bands here on Channel 11 until the synthesized crystals died. Thanks, Paul. We are looking for Radio 11 here on your old tube radio network.
Hey, Dennis, this is Cheesy 103 checking in late. Sorry about that.
Hey, no problem. And if you listen to the archives, you will see that for the first and last time in 2018, I actually called you in the right spot on time, and I have adjusted the list so that indeed you are, no matter who does this, they will call 103 when 103 is supposed to be called. So let me put you up on the list, and you're sounding good, by the way. Thanks for checking in the Old Tube Radio Network.
Okie dokie, thank you. Oh, by the way, also, I'm driving right now, so.
All right, your mobile radio signal. Okay, give us the traffic report. What's the central Fresno Clovis traffic? Is it light out there or is it heavy?
Eastbound 168 is pretty okay. Yeah, it's pretty okay.
All right, up on the freeways, got some elevation. A lot of there are subterranean spots and high spots. He's probably up on the elevated spot up on one of our glorious Fresno freeways here. Sounding good, 103. I hope that's not your speed on the speedometer, but that is, you are checked in.
All right, thank you.
What are the magic numbers?
27.085 megahertz, channel 11.
Are the magic letters?
OTR.
Right here in
Fresno, California.
Radio Magic.
Old Tube Radio.
For you.
Break OTR.
Hello, radio. The break OTR. Go ahead, please.
Hello, radio. 70 checking in, please.
All right, SWL 70 checking in. And if you can hear me on my somewhat weak audio tonight, Happy New Year, over.
Right back at you, sir. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, and everything else. Man, a lot of noise. I don't know if it's just in my area or just a lot of noise this evening.
There is a lot of noise this evening. I noticed it. We've had stations that have not been able to check in from the far-out regions for that very reason, that they have lots of noise. Other stations have mentioned it as well.
Roger, roger. Well, I'm grateful for the check-in. I appreciate it, man. That's it. We'll be over here listening. Thanks, Dennis.
All right. I'm thinking maybe they have to blow the dust off of HARP one last time for 2018, and we're getting a little wacky noise. But who knew? Anyway, you're sounding good. We got you checked in.
Hey, Dennis.
This is Dennis. Over.
You sound pretty low tonight.
Yeah, I'm having an audio issue somewhere along the line, so I'm making everybody stretch their ears tonight.
I can hear you now.
Yeah, that's the old "Can you hear me now?" Maybe hopefully I've got 11 more minutes left of whatever I need to keep going here.
All right, well, I could hear you on the freeway, but now I can't.
All right, your signal's down a little bit, so I think you've probably moved into a bad or low spot. So I'm still hearing you, though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's still low. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are looking for radio 11. And I have to run the RF gain backed off to about S7. That's where the noise level is tonight. So it is noise out there. And Ray, you said something about adding the legal limit. I think that's my problem. I've exceeded the legal limit.
God, please don't use legal limit when this close. Don't do it, please.
Yeah, we'd have the AGC police out there.
Front end overload.
Let's do some spelling.
OTR. 27.085 megahertz. Channel 11, Old Tube Radio. Old Tube Radio.
One, two, 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 1, 2. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Radio test 1, 2. Usually the jingle singers have the problem. Maybe I have to go over to the other studio to finish up here.
Well, I guess there are advantages to having no audio gear in between the radio.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm not sure that's the issue because the stream is okay. So it may be some other item going on. Normally, if I'm monitoring the sound card, that's sort of at the end of the line, so I can tell if something's happening. But that's kind of weird. There is the problem that it might be. I can't really fix at the moment. So we'll see what happens. I boosted the audio a little bit, so that should be better if it's not distorting. But I agree with you. As you once said, I think, or somebody did, keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah, for me, it's a mic and a radio.
Speaking of mics and radios, if you have a microphonium that's connected to a radio glowing in the dark, a minute or two more, we will be happy to check it in here in 2018 on the Old Tube Radio Network. And hello to the mighty KUH. Hello, Brian. Happy New Year to you. And good DX. There is, at the end of the year, and I don't have the info here, something that happens, and it's usually on the AM guys. They have a straight key night or get on the air night or something. But if you're SWLing, that would be Monday night. Look for some good, probably AM activity on the 75-meter band and wherever else the propagation may be happening. Maybe even on this channel. Maybe we'll have some activity going on here. You never know. Last call for tube radio check-ins of the 2018 year. OTR. Channel 11.
Right here in
Fresno, California.
Stay with us.
Old Tube Radio.
And be modern.
And Corey mentioning the pirate radio activity. I have a book. I wish I have these things, but I never have them. But I have a book, and it's about pirate radio stations. I think it comes with a CD that has some of the IDs for pirate radio. A big or a popular frequency for the pirates is right below 40 meters, and Corey pegs it at 6955, 6995 in that area, because I think it's kind of easy to sneak some of the amateur transmitters into that area. And so Corey reminds us, if you're an SWL like I am, and you like seeing what kind of pirate radio stations you might pick up, check out 6995, 6.995 megahertz, 6995 kilohertz, or thereabouts. AM or sideband, sometimes it's both. Some people are actually running some very elaborate. I swear there's some flex radios down there pumping out some pirate radio, but listen in on New Year's Eve. Thanks, Curry, for the heads up on that one for our shortwave listeners. Let's talk about, before I should say, are there any other stations that would like to check in, SWL or radio-wise? Over.
Hey, Dennis, 709. 709 up in Spokane trying to check in one time.
All right, 709 in Spokane. It has been a long time. The E-skip is probably going to be quick in and out tonight, but we are waving a hand from Central California. Over.
Right back there, Dennis. I'm watching your show right about now as we speak, or I was. Old Tube Radio. Dennis, Mr. 709, Spokane, Washington, right at Canadian border, looking at you.
All right, 709, oldtuberadio.net. Give yourself the video gate. The audio is excellent, and we are physically actually waving a hand out your way, and thanks for always stopping by and saying we sound good up in the Northwest. Well, the predictions of the E-skip from some of our SWLs has come true. And the fact that it's short-lived has also come true. All right, let's, if there are no other stations that would like to check in, we will do some stats here. The current stats of the evening, we had 9 check-ins on page 1 for the SWL, 16 on page 2, 12 on page 3, and 12 on page 4 for a total of 49. And my item said the average check-in for 2018 was 52 on the SWL. So we came close to that. And we are in week 2 of the 8-week roster. We'll start to 2019. Let's go to the radios tonight. All this paperwork, that's what happens when you have homework. It's like being back in school. Most heard manufacturer tonight was Robin with 3. We had radio number 1 was the Tram TR27E. I need to add something there. All right. Radio number 2 was the Buddy TX11B RC11B, the Buddy bass. That was from Paul. The Tram came from Mr. Ed. Radio number 3 was the Cobra Cam 88 with the big audio from Dennis. Shows you what you can do just out of the front of the radio. If you've got, if a radio will say, yeah, give me that audio, I'll put it out there. Radio number 4, the Browning Golden Eagle Mark III from Monkey's Uncle SWL 50, followed by the E.F. Johnson 223. Radio number 5 from SWL 7, who also brought us at Radio 6, the Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB. Radio number 7 was Mike, SWL 47 on the Robin T123 with the Magic High. He followed that with Radio 8, the Robin T123. B, sounds good, but yeah, it would be interesting to see what amplified microphone would do. The right one, of course, although it sounds fine without it. Radio number 9, the Robin T123 from the collection of Ed, and Radio 10 tonight from Paul, the Regency. What a great way to finish off 2018 with my favorite radio, the Regency Imperial Double Sideband. Thanks, Paul. I actually have a plaque, or I should say OTR has a plaque that's got a Regency on it. It was our 30-year anniversary plaque, thanks to SWL 84, 86, 87, and 88. And it's displayed here somewhere that's off camera, but I think it actually has a Regency Imperial on there. So let me unkey for a second and make sure there's no smoke back here. Let's talk about radios. We were talking about manufacturers heard in 2018. Before we started tonight, the number 8 was Courier at 25 radios. Number 7, Sonar at 29 radios. Number 6 was the Robin with 32 radios checked in. Number 5, the top 5, number 5 was E.F. Johnson at 33 radios. Number 4 for 2018, and this is before we started tonight, was Hallicrafters at 36 radios. Number 3 was Tram at 37 radios heard. Number 2 was General Radio Telephone. Number 2 was General Radio Telephone with 83 radios heard. And number 1, and most of you who guessed correctly, was Browning Laboratories with 113 radios heard. So, if we add tonight's totals, we're going to add 2 more Brownings. That'll take them up to 115. We didn't have any General Radio Telephones. We had 1 Tram. That'll take them up to 38, so that doesn't change any standings there. We didn't have any Hallicrafters, so they stay at 36. Now, we did have an E.F. Johnson check-in, and they move up to 34. They're in 5th place. Our 6th place radio was the Robins. They had 32 before we started. They had 3 radios check-in tonight, which puts them at 35. And so with that, there were no sonars, no things. So with that, they are now the 5th most heard manufacturer of 2018. And since there was only 1 E.F. Johnson, they're at 34. So that moves the Johnson down to radio 6. So here's the final 2018 totals. 8 was Courier, 7 with Sonar. Number 6 is now E.F. Johnson with 34 radios. Number 5 is Robin with 35 radios. And Hallicrafters at number 4 with 36 radios. Tram at number 3, we added 1, so they're at 38 radios, and then the General Radio Telephones at 83, and the Browning Labs at 113. So we actually did change things to the top 5 for 2018. Let's start that again. The top 5, number 5, Robin, number 4, Hallicrafters, number 3, Tram, number 2, General Radio Telephone, and number 1, Browning Labs. And there you have it. I hope I get a C+ on my homework assignment from 00. 73, everybody. We will catch you in 2019. On what day will it be? On the 3rd, the 5th? I can't read my writing. Let's see. And it will be the 5th, I believe. And we will start anew with your radio. So think about what radios you'd like to check in, maybe what radios you'd like to add to your collection, and we would like to hear them all. Of course, the shortwave listeners, always out there, thanks for listening. And we all enjoy glowing in the dark when we can do it. Any comments, any things I need to comment on? Ray says, at least he got number 3 right. And our Browning fans, who probably knew that, knew about number 1. But General Radio Telephone's not bad. And between radios 3, 4, 5, and 6, there was about 4 numbers different, so it was a tie in there. I knew we might change things tonight, and we did. So thanks, everybody. Thanks to all those listening. Have a great rest of your year. There's not much time to wreck it, so just enjoy it. Thanks to SearchLawrence.com and Frodex for keeping our digital side up and running, and I'll make sure that the stuff behind me here is still functioning, at least for another year or so. The Old Tube Radio Network listening.
Good night, good net, and you passed.
Thank you.
I'm from Spokane.
Good night. Great job as always.
And 709, drop in any time when the conditions warrant.
Hey, I'll be on the best down there, Dennis. God bless, man. Have a happy New Year, man. 709 back up in Spokane.
All right, 709, you guys do great up there in Spokane. We've had a couple of check-ins in our 30-something years, and if you find yourself in front of a glow-in-the-dark radio, you know where to key it up. Thanks.
Boy, that skip was pretty cool there. Hey, Happy New Year. Stay out of trouble, everyone. And best wishes.
And good night. We'll catch you next time on the Old Tube Radio Network.